All right, students, here we go. We're talking about surface area of cylinders today. Just like you looked at volume of cylinders last time, we're going to be finding the surface area or two-dimensional material needed to make up the cylinder. Cylinder breaks down into, just like a prism, two bases, but something special about these bases is that they are circles. So these two bases will be here. We have one and two of them. And then we have, I always think of like peeling the label off of a pop bottle or a soup can or something like that. We have the lateral area that would wrap around the cylinder. And that actually looks like a rectangle. Okay, that rectangle is going to be shown in our surface area as well. So I started you off with the formula for surface area. Surface area equals 2 times the base area plus the lateral area. And we're going to be looking at how to find the lateral area as well as the base area, and then maybe even put these together to find surface area formula. Let's start with that. So I have base area, and base area is just a circle. So area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. The only trick there is making sure you find the radius, not the diameter, and that you square it, not multiply it by 2. So radius times pi will equal your base area. That's going to take care of your two circles. Now next, we're going to look at the lateral area, and lateral area is found by 2, forgot my 2, had to think for a second, 2 pi r h. Let's talk about where this comes from. This part, the 2 pi r, actually finds the circumference of the circle. So if we break down this circle, take it apart, straighten it out, flatten it out, we actually have the width or length, whichever you want to call it, of the rectangle. So that actually finds the circumference, 2 times pi times radius. The height of the whole prism is referred to as the length or width of the rectangle. So if we call this length and width, we would multiply to find the area of the rectangle. So this actually references the length or circumference of that rectangle, and then the height is actually the width. So length times width to find that area of the rectangle. We could actually put these all together into a formula. Now, some of your questions will ask you to find the lateral area and then the total area. But the lateral area is very important there. So make sure if you find the lateral area, you call it lateral area. If you find the total surface area, you call it surface area. If we put these two together, if we combine them into a whole formula, our whole formula for surface area of cylinders would be 2 times the base area, which is pi r squared, plus 1 lateral area, or plus the lateral area, so plus 2 pi r h. Now it seems like a pretty difficult formula, but it's actually not too bad. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and box that up just to draw attention to it. That's going to be our surface area formula. We're going to use that right now in finding the surface area of this cylinder. This cylinder, just to break it down, I see that the radius of the base is 5 meters, and I see that the height of the whole cylinder is 14 meters. Double check that we have the radius, double check that we have the height, which we do. We're not talking in terms of diameter or some other form of measurement. Our formula is in terms of radius and height. So let's look at this formula in play right now. Let's check it out. We got surface area equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Now we only have 2 things to plug into that, or to substitute there. We have the 5 is the radius, and the 14 is the height. Let's take a look at how that shakes out. We're going to go next at substitution. So substitute 2 times pi times radius, 5 squared, plus 2 times pi times radius, which is 5, times height, which is 14. Now that's all substituted out. It looks even a little bit worse than just the formula with the numbers in there. But really the hard part is over with. We've identified, we've substituted, now we just need to solve it out. I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick here today on this one, and hopefully you understand it. Keep in mind that pi is 3.14, and as we work through this, I'm going to keep pi as a letter, kind of like a variable. And in the end, I'm going to show you how to combine like terms, which would maybe help you in solving for that. If it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, that's okay. You can just multiply by 3.14 at any time. Like I could multiply 2 times 3.14 and get 6.28 right now and substitute that in for 2 pi. But let me show you the other way. Maybe it'll make sense to you. Let's take a look here. We got 2 times pi times 5 squared. That's squared first, so we're going to multiply that. 5 times 5. So let's go 2 times pi times 25. Now if we multiply over here, just to make sure I get it right, I'm going to go ahead and grab my calculator. 14 times 5 is 70. So now we have 2 times pi times 70. Next, I think I'm going to multiply the 2. So it might look something like this. 2 times 25 is 50 times pi. 2 times 70 is 140 times pi. And I told you I was going to leave that pi in there. I'm going to treat it kind of like it's a variable. Now if I say like I have 50 pi's plus 140 pi's, I actually have 190 pi's by combining like terms. 190 pi, or 190 times pi. And then that saves you from having to multiply and deal with decimals throughout the whole problem. You just save it all till the end. You might still encounter some decimals, but in this case you wouldn't have to deal with pi until the end. Save pi till the end, you know, kind of like dessert. Last but certainly not least, 190 times, we're going to go with a 3.14 for pi. 3.14 equals 596.6. Let's look at that. Surface area equals 596.6 meters, and it is squared today because surface area. Volume would be cubed, surface area is squared. Looks good. So just to recap, we used our formula. If we were asked just to find lateral area, that would be this part. And we could say 140 times pi would be our lateral area. I know some problems will ask you to find the lateral area and then find the total area. So you could use this format and just say that this part is your lateral area if you'd like to. Let's take a look at another one. My cylinder has fallen over and is on its side now. No big deal. We're going to take a look at finding surface area. In fact, if you want to, we can take a look at the surface area as the two definitions of lateral area and base area. That might be a good breakdown for this. So let's go. Base area is pi times radius squared. And then we have lateral area. Lateral area equals 2 pi r h, or 2 times pi times the radius times the height. We'll find each of them. But notice our two formulas are in terms of radius, and this cylinder is not in terms of radius. It is actually in terms of diameter. So we need to first take and find half of the diameter to find the radius. This diameter says 12.4 centimeters. That's the diameter. If I divide it by 2, I'm going to get 6.2, and that would reference the radius. So r actually equals 6.2, not the 12.4. That's diameter. It helps us find the radius, but it's not going to play a role in our problem. Let's look at our base area. Remember, we actually have two base areas, so when we find the total surface area, we'll use that formula of surface area equals 2 base areas plus lateral area. Okay, so we got base area equals pi times the radius, 6.2 squared. First things first, 6.2 squared. 6.2, my calculator has a squared key, but if yours doesn't, that's okay. Times 6.2 is 38.44. Then times pi. It's ugly. It's 120.7016. I don't know if you can see that on there. 7016. I'm just going to leave it right now because I don't want to round in the problem. I'm going to round in the end if we need to. Most of your assignment is rounded, so we'll take a look at rounding to the nearest, call it 10th or 100th. Either one works for me. Let's find lateral area. Lateral area equals 2 times pi times radius, 6.2, times height, got it covered up here, 16. To the calculator we go. I'm going to start with 6.2 times 16 is 99.2 times 2 times pi. 622.976. Get the calculator out of the way there. So if you're asked just to find lateral area, you would say 622.976 square centimeters, and that would be your lateral area answer. Then you'd go find the base area, multiply it by 2, because we still have to multiply it by 2, and then add the lateral area to it. So to find the total surface area, I'm going to take this times 2, and then add with the lateral area. Let's do some calculator work here. I got that 120.7016 times 2. Yep. Now I'm going to add the lateral area to it, plus 622.976. Unrounded answer, 864. Surface area equals 864.3792. Let's round to the nearest, well, 100th. Sounds good to me. Surface area equals 864.3. 9 rounds of 7 up to 8. Looks good. Centimeters squared. That's finding surface area by the route of finding lateral area and base area. Take your base area times 2 because there's 2 of them, and then adding them all up to find surface area. Please contact me if you need some help, guys. Email is fine. Private comment on Google Classroom is fine. You can even message me on Facebook, not a problem. Thanks for watching.